Today, we're covering the youngest serial killers in recorded history. These cases are disturbing, tragic, and raise questions about nature versus nurture that we still can't answer. These are children who killed multiple people before they were even teenagers. Amarjeet Sada, born in 1998 in Bihar, India. He came from an extremely poor family living in a small village. In 2006, when Amarjeet was just 8 years old, he killed 3 infants. His first victim was his 6-month-old cousin, then his 8-month-old sister. His family kept these deaths secret, blaming them on illness. But then he killed a 6-month-old neighbor's daughter. He took the baby to a field, beat her with a brick, and strangled her. A neighbor saw him and alerted authorities. When police questioned him, he confessed to all 3 murders. He showed no remorse, no emotion. Psychologists who examined him said he didn't understand the permanence of death. Because he was so young, he couldn't be tried as an adult in India. He was sent to a reform home until age 18. After his release, his whereabouts are unknown. Amarjeet Sada remains the youngest serial killer ever recorded. Mary Bell, born in 1957 in Newcastle, England. Mary had a horrific childhood. Her mother was a prostitute who allegedly tried to kill her multiple times. She grew up in extreme poverty and abuse. In 1968, when Mary was 10 years old, she strangled 4-year-old Martin Brown in an abandoned house. Police initially thought it was an accident. 2 months later, Mary and her 13-year-old friend Norma killed 3-year-old Brian Howe. They strangled him, mutilated his body, and carved an M into his stomach with scissors. Mary was arrested, and during interviews, she showed disturbing behavior. She smiled when discussing the murders, seemed excited by them. She was convicted of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Because she was only 11, she couldn't be charged with murder. She was sent to a detention center and released at age 23. Mary Bell was given a new identity and has lived anonymously ever since. Psychologists believe her violent behavior was a direct result of severe childhood abuse. February 1993. Liverpool, England. John Venables and Robert Thompson, both 10 years old, were skipping school. They lured 2-year-old James Bulger away from his mother in a shopping mall. Security cameras captured them, leading the toddler out by the hand. They walked him over 2 miles to a railway track. Then they tortured and killed him. They beat him with bricks, kicked him, and left his body on the tracks to be run over by a train. The case shocked the entire world. 2 10-year-olds, a 2-year-old victim. During the trial, both boys showed little emotion. They were convicted of murder and became the youngest convicted murderers in modern UK history. They were detained until age 18, then released with new identities. John Venables has been sent back to prison twice for possessing child abuse images. Robert Thompson has never reoffended. But James Bulger's family will never get him back. Jesse Pomeroy, born in 1859 in Massachusetts. Jesse had a troubled childhood. He was bullied relentlessly for a birth defect that affected his eye. At age 11, he began torturing younger children. He would lure them to isolated areas, strip them, tie them up, and beat them. At age 14, he escalated to murder. In 1874, he killed a 10-year-old girl, mutilating her body. 2 months later, he killed a 4-year-old boy, stabbing him repeatedly and nearly decapitating him. Jesse was arrested, tried as an adult, and convicted of first-degree murder. At 14, he was sentenced to life in solitary confinement. He spent over 40 years in isolation. Jesse Pomeroy died in prison in 1932 at age 72. He remains one of the youngest people ever convicted of first-degree murder in the United States. Psychologists who studied him believed he had antisocial personality disorder and possibly psychopathy. But in the 1870s, there was no treatment, only punishment. Graham Young, born in 1947 in England. From a young age, Graham was obsessed with chemistry and poisons. At age 14, he began poisoning his family members. He put antimony and arsenic in their food and tea. His stepmother died from the poisoning. His father and sister became seriously ill. Doctors initially thought it was a mysterious illness, but a teacher at Graham's school noticed he was bragging about poisons. Police investigated and found poison in his home. Graham confessed. He said he wanted to study the effects of poison on humans. He showed no remorse for killing his stepmother. Because of his age, he was sent to a psychiatric hospital instead of prison. He was released at age 23, and then he killed again. He poisoned co-workers at his job, killing 2 more people. He was finally caught and sentenced to life in prison. Graham Young died in prison in 1990. He was a child serial killer who never stopped. January 1979, San Diego, California. Brenda Ann Spencer lived across the street from an elementary school. On a Monday morning, she took a rifle her father had given her for Christmas. She opened fire on children and staff arriving at school. She killed the principal and a custodian. She injured 8 children and a police officer. The shooting lasted 20 minutes before she barricaded herself in her house. Police negotiated with her for hours. When asked why she did it, she said, "I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day." Her comment inspired the Boomtown Rat song, "I Don't Like Mondays." May 1998, Springfield, Oregon. Kipling. Kip Kinkle, 15 years old, had been obsessed with guns and bombs. He had been suspended from school the day before for bringing a gun to class. That night, he shot and killed both his parents in their home. The next morning, he went to his high school with a rifle and 2 handguns. He opened fire in the cafeteria. He killed 2 students and injured 25 others. Students tackled him and stopped the shooting. Kip was arrested and confessed to everything. He said he heard voices telling him to kill. Psychologists diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia. He was tried as an adult and sentenced to nearly 112 years in prison without parole. The debate continues. Are these children born evil, or were they created by the environments they grew up in? What we do know is that the victims, many of them also children, never got a chance at life. And that's the real tragedy. Which case shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments.